I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call has been taken. We have a quorum. Hopefully, I see everybody eventually got their packets.
I got it today.
Me too. And Matt's shaking his head. So hopefully you've had a chance to peruse and look over the material. Look for a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
Motion.
Motion by Leo, second by Dennis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. On the same line of thinking, meeting the minutes from August 19th. Any additions or corrections or changes? Hearing none, look for a motion to approve the minutes as printed. Motion by Dennis,
I'll second.
second by Travis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak to something that is not? Okay. Okay. So, public hearing, we have Michael Ward doing business as Benchmark Builders as a request for a variance. The applicant is seeking approval of a variance to reduce the road right-of-way setback for an attached garage at 21639 162nd Avenue, Barnesville, Minnesota, on parcel 16.070.0050 in lot 005, block 001, Pearl View Estates, section 27, township 13379N, range 45W, Humboldt Township. I'm looking for a motion to open the public hearing.
Make a motion.
Motion by Leo. Second by Dennis. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is carried. Public hearing is open. Take it away, Matt.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a point of clarification, it's a road center line setback is the variance request. So this property is located east of Barnesville in the Pearl View State subdivision off of Highway 34. All the properties are zoned Ag General. It's a residential property with a single-family dwelling and a detached garage. They're looking to place an attached garage about 66 feet from the road center line. That minimum road center line setback for a local township road is 90 feet. The current garage would be converted to part of the house, so you can see the attached garage right here. This is the practical difficulty that was provided by the applicant. Power, sewer, water make construction elsewhere virtually impossible. A garage addition to the west encroaches on the side boundary setback and makes passage to an existing detached garage more difficult. So really just not a lot of room on the side here. And then you've got your gas, well, electrical kind of around the house here, and then septic as well. So they're looking at adding right here. That would be the garage. This would be converted to as part of the dwelling and about 66 feet from the road center line. Their existing garage is about 637 square feet. The detached garage in the back is 837 square feet. Just looking at the subdivision, currently all the structures on every lot in the subdivision do meet or exceed setbacks. And just to note that there was a variance denied in 2020 to construct an attached garage 60 feet from the road center line. And the board at that time gave the variance would alter the essential character of the locality. I should note that variances are not precedent setting, so just because that variance was denied, it was unique to that property, and this property is a different situation, different circumstance. So just a closer look at that right here. So this is the property here, and their property is about 98, it's about 100 feet off the setback right now, or the road center line right now as it stands. Really, the one goal in our comprehensive plan related to this would just be to maintain and operate a safe, accessible, efficient transportation system in Clay County. 66 feet would be a 27% reduction. It doesn't really appear that it would impact any sight lines at all. I did speak with the county engineer because the county does provide maintenance and snow removal on this property or on this road, and he said that there wouldn't be any issue from a road maintenance perspective, just due to the slow speeds on the road. Plows aren't really throwing out a lot of snow. So ultimately, as with every variance request, you just really need to go through that practical difficulty, and if it meets that 3-factor test, the property owner proposes to use the property in a reasonable manner, not permitted by an official control. The plight of the landowner is due to circumstances unique to the property, not created by the landowner, and the variance, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the locality. Any questions for me at all?
Is it like a 24 by 24?
I'll defer to the applicant on that.
Just more curious, it doesn't look like there's, looking at your blue map here, it doesn't look like the whole garage is really in it, obviously, but I'm curious how much of it is in it.
You will have a chance, just instant.
It would essentially, the garage addition would extend up to this lighter blue line. So the dark blue is the 90-foot setback, and then the lighter color is the 66-foot setback.
Center line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone else have questions for Matt? Hearing none, would the applicant care to speak? And please introduce yourself or state your name for the record.
Sure. My name is Michael Ward with doing business as Benchmark Builders, representing Mr. Kyle Schmidt, the landowner here. Just to answer the question, the proposed dwelling or garage would be 26 feet wide, roughly 32 and a half feet deep. So I think we're currently roughly 8 feet away from that current setback. So, the new, sorry, I can't do the math in my head. The new garage would be encroaching into that setback by 24 feet, roughly. If that makes sense. And one consideration we had discussed at one point extending the proposed garage to the west. And initially talking about that, we thought, well, there still might be some room if we went to the west and encroached on that western boundary, that he could still possibly, maneuver around the garage to get to his existing garage in the back or back a trailer up. And when I was on the county GIS website, if we were to maintain that same proposed dimension and just going to the west, we would actually be pretty much right on the property line, because as the property lies now, it seems like there's more room there than there is, and without throwing the landowner under the bus, I think he's actually encroaching on his neighbor's property as it is with some of his landscaping. So building a comparable dimension garage going towards that western boundary would put us right on the property line and makes access to that existing garage impossible.
Go back to your map. That one there.
And ultimately, the garage would be finished as like it was built with the house. You won't be able to tell.
That's correct.
Have you had any feedback from your neighbors?
Have you had any feedback from your neighbors, Kyle?
I had the neighbor directly. Kyle Schmidt, landowner. Ernie, directly to the west of us, talked to him about it. He didn't have an issue with it. Corey O'Leary, in the northwest corner, on the outside loop there, he's on the township board. He asked about it and he didn't have any issues with it, from talking with him. My neighbor, John, to the east one, no issues with that. He doesn't have an issue with it, and I had talked to Tony and Janelle. Janelle at the gas station, she asked, because we've been talking about it for a while, and she'd asked kind of where it's at, and I explained to her that we would want to put the garage out going north, and she didn't seem to have an issue with it either.
Well, if we've made it to this point, all the neighbors would have gotten a letter too, right?
Yeah, we didn't hear anything from the township or any.
And there's no one in the
neighbors.
audience.
No.
So,
Anyone else have questions for the potential builder and landowner? Leo, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Thank you. Hearing no other questions for Matt or the landowner or builder, look for motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion.
Motion by Leo,
I'll second.
second by Travis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Public hearing is closed. Now we need to work through our findings of fact. Is granting the variance in harmony with the general purposes and intent of the Clay County Land Development Code?
Yes.
Is the requested variance consistent with the Clay County Comprehensive Land Use?
Yes.
Yes.
Does the applicant establish that there are practical difficulties in complying with the strict letter of the Clay County Land Development Code by demonstrating the applicant proposes to use the property in a reasonable manner, not permitted by official control? Let's see, how
Yes.
is this? Exceptional or extraordinary circumstances apply to the property that do not apply generally to other properties in the same district or vicinity, and which result from lot size, shape, topography, or other circumstances over which a landowner has no control or influence. Granting the variance will not alter the essential character of the property's locality. Practical difficulties, as used in connection with granting of a variance, mean that the property owner proposes to use the property in a reasonable manner not permitted by an official control. The plight of the landowner is due to circumstances unique to the property, not created by the landowner, and the variance, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the locality. Economic considerations alone do not constitute a practical difficulty. Variances shall be granted for earth-sheltered construction as defined in section 216C.06 subdivision 14 when in harmony with the local official controls.
Say yes.
And I would say yes. Would the literal interpretation of the provisions of the Clay County Land Development Code deprive the right of the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same district under the terms of this ordinance.
Yes.
Is the variance being granted the minimum variance that would alleviate the practical difficulty?
Yes.
Does the variance request meet all the below criteria? No variance shall be granted where any of the following conditions are not met. Adequate sewage treatment systems or water supply can be provided.
Yes.
The plight of the landowner or the hardship is not due to circumstances created by the landowner.
Yes.
The variance would not allow a use that is not already allowed in the zoning district.
Yes.
Yes.
There would be no significant adverse effect on public health or safety.
Yes.
Staff has put some conditions on here. Conditions may be imposed in the granting of a variance. A condition must be directly related to and must bear rough proportionality to the impact created by the variance. Condition 1, the garage must not be closer than 66 feet from the road center line.
I think that'd be a good one to put in there. You know, I know we've had a few come through here where there was concerns about getting too close to that road, considering like plowing and stuff like that, and like you're saying, they'd like to wing it off the road and stuff like that, but in a development like this, you can kind of see everyone's got extra garages here and there, and just kind of looking at that dark blue line, light blue line, there were a few other houses that were, it looked like they were darn close in that dark blue, so it wouldn't be,
There's nothing new to that subdivision.
yeah, and obviously the plow going through there is not going 40, 50 miles an hour. So there, pardon me? Wherever that curve is at. Yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised that plowing's maybe going 20, 30 miles an hour through there as it is.
Yeah, and Mr. Chair, that's essentially what I had heard from our county engineer. Be a different story if it was maybe on the straighter part of the road, or if this was a county road
Yeah.
or a county, or even a township road where the speed limit's 55 miles per hour.
Yeah, or even you have considerations of agricultural equipment coming through there and dust and all that kind of stuff, and obviously there's not gonna be anything agricultural coming through there, so.
I agree, it's. Okay, so any other discussion or questions or comments? Hearing none, look for a motion to approve or deny
I'll make a motion to approve.
with condition 1.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion by Leo to approve the variance with condition number 1,
I'll second.
and a second by Travis. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is carried, variance is granted. Any unfinished business, Matt?
Nothing for me, Mr. Chair, unless someone else has something.
New business?
Same with new business.
Okay, well, I guess hearing no unfinished or old or new business, I look for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Motion by Leo, second by Dennis. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is carried. Meeting is closed. Thanks, everyone.
Have a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Second by Ashley. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Same situation with the minutes from last month. Any additions or corrections?
Move to approve.
Motion by Sebastian,
Second.
a second by Josh to approve the minutes as printed. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is carried. Thanks, everyone. Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak to something that is not on the agenda? Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak to something that is not on the agenda? Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak to something that is not on the agenda? Hearing and seeing none, we will move on to public hearings. Our first hearing for the evening is Roy and Teresa Gilbertson, request for a conditional use permit. The applicant is seeking the conditional use permit for an event center at 158 80th Street South, Glendon, Minnesota. Parcel ID is 10.008.0155 and 10.009.2001. Part of the northeast quarter of the northeast section 8 and part of the northwest quarter of northwest quarter section 9. Township 139N, Range 47W, Glendon Township. Look for a motion to open the public hearing.
So offered, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Jenny,
Second.
second by Kurt Stubsted. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Public hearing is open. Take it away, Matt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a conditional use permit request for a retreat/event center. This is between Dilworth and Glendon on the south side of US Highway 10. It's currently residential and an event center. There's a conditional use permit granted in 2010 for a haunted farm, and in 2013, there was an interim use permit granted for a home occupation event center. Lots of zoning on this property. Ag general shore is the base zoning, overlay being shoreland special protection, floodway, floodplain fringe, and then resource protection, wellhead protection. So the request is essentially to convert their home occupation interim use permit to a conditional use permit, and they intend to use the additional acreage just for backup or overflow parking. And so prior to, they had acquired this property here to the north and combined it with their property here to the south. So prior to that acquisition, the event center was just on this property. And with that, it essentially allows them to meet our lot standards for event centers and all the other standards as well. So instead of just going through, they needed to renew their interim use permit because it was only for the property to the south and not the additional property anyway. So the thought was just convert it to a conditional use permit because you meet all the standards now. Most of the uses and structures would not be permitted in the floodway or the resource protection wellhead protection, the exception to that being parking. And so you can see their current parking and then additional parking if needed. Just noting the Buffalo Aquifer they're kind of right on the edge of that Buffalo Aquifer. And our wellhead protection kind of runs right down here. Since they've been in business for 10 plus years, we haven't had any issues, complaints, or anything of that nature. Get my yearly call from the fire marshal about them, and no issues seem to be arising from that either. So. How this request relates to our comprehensive plan, we have a goal to encourage commercial and industrial development that is in harmony with the ag and rural character of Clay County and to promote value-added eggs, commercial and industrial development in agricultural service center areas and along transportation corridors and hubs, and this use is located along Highway 10. We have a objective to avoid or mitigate against commercial and industrial development in and near environmentally sensitive areas. This is adjacent to the Buffalo Aquifer and the Buffalo River. It's not an industrial heavy commercial use. It really relies on the scenic nature of the area as part of their business. So impacts to these resources should be minimal. And then to avoid or mitigate against commercial and industrial development that increases potential for conflicts with residential or ag uses. This does not take any ag land out of production and would not interfere with any ag operations. The closest residence to this use is about 750 feet from the property line, and it's across US Highway 10 to the north. Any questions for me at all? Go back to the...
I always thought they owned it already, so, cause it just, you know, it laid there and what else, and I think this is a good use for that and for you guys, cause, you know, it isn't farmable, you know, there's some hay ground there. That's it. It wouldn't affect any highway use, I mean, anyone have any questions or comments for Matt? Would the applicant care to speak to your project, and if so, come up to the mic and state your name for the record, please?
My name is Roy Gilbertson. Well, that's loud, isn't it? Yeah, basically, we finally, after 37 years, this neighbor sold us this piece of property we've been trying to get, and we just are adding it into our, incorporating it into our project. So, we're using it basically for overflow parking if we ever need it. We might look at putting in a different ceremony site down there that's portable. Other than that, we have a guy that's coming in and doing horse and buggy rides around for if the wedding wants to hire him. But other than that, that's just the use we're using it for. So.
Anyone have any questions or comments for Mr. Gilbertson? Thank you.
All right.
Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak for or against this ask? Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak for or against this permit? Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak for or against this permit? Hearing none, look for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ashley, seconded by Brad. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Public hearing is closed. Findings of fact. The conditional use will not be injurious to the health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the residents of Clay County. The conditional use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purpose already permitted. The establishment of the conditional use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses predominant in the area. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide utilities, access road, drainage, and off-street parking and loading spaces as required by the ordinance. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to prevent or control offensive odor, fumes, dust, noise, vibration, water pollution, and soil erosion, so that none of these will constitute a nuisance, and to control lighted signs or other lights in such a manner that no disturbance to neighboring properties will result. The conditional use will not create an excessive burden on current or anticipated public infrastructure or services that serve or are proposed to serve the area, including to but not limited to parks, schools, public safety services, roads, water supply, sanitary sewers, storm sewers, unless the county and the applicant establish a development agreement that determines how such impacts will be resolved. The conditional use is allowed by this ordinance and conforms with any specific use standards in Chapter 8 as may be applicable. The conditional use is consistent with the goals and objective of the Clay County Comprehensive and Transportation Plan and any comprehensive plan of a township or city as may be applicable. Matt and staff have several conditions
And,
to
and
propose.
Mr. Chair, these conditions are essentially taken from their interim use permit application with just some modifications. The condition 3, hours, dates of operation, essentially mirror the request, what they're requesting in their new request. Before, I think it was more limited to the beginning of February.
Yeah, everything, anybody have any comments or questions? I guess I'd like to say that I appreciate coming prior to than after. Anybody have any questions or adjustments they feel should be made or added to the 6 conditions that staff has? Has the applicant had a chance to review, and if approved, you are able and understand to be able to abide by these 6 conditions? Applicant has indicated yes. Hearing no discussion, look for a motion to approve or disapprove.
I'll make the
Conditional
motion to
use.
approve with the 6 conditions listed.
Okay, Kurt has made a motion to approve.
Second.
Brad has seconded with the existing 6 conditions. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Cup is approved. Thank you. On to our next hearing. It is Westland Materials LLC, request for an IUP mining permit amendment. The applicant is seeking an interim use mining permit amendment to change a condition on parcel ID 17.012.4000 in the southeast quarter of Section 12, Township 141N, Range 45W, Keene Township. Look for a motion to approve the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Sebastian, seconded by Brad. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Public hearing is open. There you go, Matt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yep, this is an interim use gravel mining amendment request. Heard a amendment request last month for the same pit, changing the hours of operation. This is north on CSA 33 on the west side in Keene Township. They originally received an interim use permit for 38-acre gravel mine in 2021. That was amended last month, and then variances to setbacks approved in 2022. Another a parcel with complicated zoning. So ag general is the base zoning, then there's resource protection aggregate, resource protection biological, shoreland, special protection, and general floodplain. The mining is really only anticipated to occur in the resource protection aggregate and ag general zoning districts. So really two amendments here. Looking for an amendment to allow for mining into the water table, and then a slight expansion of the maximum acreage from 38 acres to 39.5 acres. So what that request looks like is removing condition 11, all mining activities must occur at minimum 10 feet above the groundwater table to allow for mining to occur below the groundwater table, and then changing that 38 acres for mining operations to 39.5. Just some little history here. The intent of that 10-foot vertical buffer was between the mine floor and the groundwater table. It's essentially based on DNR guidance and research. For some of these larger open water mining operations, typically the large ones where you have a dredge involved, the actual evapotranspiration rate or evaporation rate is higher, that has been observed, higher than an actual lake or pond. And they've noticed downstream effects on water resources, wetlands. Basically, it's almost like a naturally dewatering those water resources downstream. Most of that, though, research is based on like large, I think of like Pit 21 or some of the pits up by Felton Prairie, and not necessarily these smaller pits. So really what they're looking at opening is about an 8-acre area to a depth of about 10 to 20 feet. And then that 1.5 acre expansion is pretty negligible. So this is essentially where that open water area would be. So it would be on the south side of the property. They're looking at putting it right in here. Any questions for me at all?
There's a neighbor right there. Any comments from the neighbor, or right?
Yeah, this is an older, those homes have been removed actually, so, yep.
How does going 10 feet deeper affect the reclamation plan?
I think what their reclamation plan would be is just to have that be like just a natural water feature once it's done. They'd try and fill it in some, and then it would just be used for livestock, for like a watering hole essentially, I think is, or just a pond essentially.
DNR is,
Have not heard any comments from the DNR.
anyone else? If not, would the applicant care to come up and speak to your project and same as last month, say your name?
Yeah. Jeff with Westland Excavating. We used up a lot of our resources that were above the water, and we finding a lot of sand now, so we'd like to dig down into the water and try and get a little more material out of there with all the work we've got coming up. And I'm not sure if the material will actually go that far west. That was just my estimation, I guess.
Are you dredging or digging it with an excavator?
Digging it with an excavator.
Have you done this type of mining prior to this?
I was actually involved in that pond on the south side on Aggregates property back in the day, I guess.
Okay.
Not with Westland, but I have been around it before.
I've been in that pit, so. Anyone else have questions for Jeff? Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak for or against? Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak for or against? Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak for or against? Hearing none, look for a motion to close the public hearing.
So move.
Motion by Brad,
Second.
second by Josh. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Public hearing is closed. For the fun part. The interim use will not be injurious to the health, safety, morals, and general welfare of Clay County. The interim use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purpose already permitted. The establishment of the interim use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses predominant in the area. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide utilities, access roads, drainage, off-street parking, and loading spaces as required by this ordinance. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to prevent or control offensive odor, fumes, dust, noise, vibration, water pollution, and soil erosion, so that none of these will constitute a nuisance, and to control lighted signs or other lights in such a manner that no disturbance to the neighboring properties will result. The interim use will not create an excessive burden on current or anticipated public infrastructure or services that serve or are proposed to serve the area, including but not limited to parks, schools, public safety services, roads, water supply, sanitary sewers, storm sewers, unless the county and the applicant establish a development agreement that determines how such impacts will be resolved. The interim use is allowed by this ordinance and conforms with any specific use standards established in Chapter 8 as may be applicable. The interim use is consistent with the goals and objectives of the Clay County Comprehensive and Transportation Plan and any comprehensive plan of a township or city as may be applicable. Okay, Matt and staff have got a 13 conditions tagged to this permit ask.
Yeah, and Mr. Chair, these are essentially the same as was heard last month with just the removal of that condition 11, which I forgot to number, so it's like, there we go, 12
Okay.
conditions. And then the only other thought would be is if the planning commission would want to put an acreage limit on that open water area or not. It's really up to you.
So there won't be any washing, it's just digging it out of the,
Correct.
okay, see a couple of affirmative shakes. Nobody has any questions or comments or additions to the 12 conditions. Look for a motion to approve or disapprove. Oh, wait a minute, sorry. Jeff, you okay in dealing with one less thing that you had to deal with last month? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Look for,
Does the 1.5 acre expansion create any issues with the setbacks?
Mr. Chair and Mr. Steichen, no, it does not, just because they have variances in hand already for those, or approved variances for the setbacks.
okay. Any further questions? If not, look for a motion to approve or disapprove the IUP request.
A motion to approve conditions 1 through 12.
Motion by Brad to approve, second by Jenny. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Permit is granted. Okay, moving on to the next public hearing, we have a Nicholas and Heather Sauer request for a conditional use permit. The applicant is seeking a conditional use to convert an accessory use to a principal use on parcel 13.026.3003 in part of the northwest quarter of section 26, Township 139, Range 45W, Hawley Township. Look for a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion to open the hearing.
Motion by Laura,
Second.
second by Sebastian. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Public hearing is open. Thank you. Matt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yep, this is a request to convert an accessory use, in this case a garage, to a principal use. This would be on the northeast side of Silver Lake, south of Hawley and east of CASA 31. Currently, it's farmland. The property is zoned Ag General, general floodplain, just for a little bit along the shoreline there, and shoreline special protection. So looking to construct a 1,020 square foot 40 by 60 garage, intend to be used for personal use and storage, but have connections to electricity, septic well, include a bathroom and a fridge. The original application was for a garage that did have a bathroom, bedrooms, and a full kitchen. This would have been permitted just essentially as a seasonal recreational residence. But since then, it was talking with the applicant, is going to be a garage. So the current iteration does have just a bathroom and a refrigerator. The catch here being that a garage that could be used as a residence, but then in the future, if they wanted to build an additional residence on the parcel, they would have to subdivide the parcel essentially, because you cannot have two dwellings on one parcel, and to meet our density requirements and then shoreline regulations as well. So with that, typically a dwelling is something that has a bathroom, bedroom, and kitchen. Garage, it could have two of those three amenities in it, whether it be a bathroom, bedroom, or a kitchen. Currently, it's just a bathroom and a fridge is the plan. From our comprehensive plan, we have a goal to support the long-term protection of the county's strong, diverse ag economy, ensuring all new development is compatible with the character and quality of the county's ag areas. It would take a limited amount of prime farmland if drained out of production. We do have a goal also to protect and enhance the health and vitality of Clay County's surface waters, including lakes, rivers, and streams for the benefit and enjoyment of Clay County residents and visitors, and to reduce development pressure on natural environment. Lakes in Clay County, the development as proposed would meet all applicable shoreland regulations. Any questions for me at all?
So they already have an existing septic, or they're gonna put an
I
existing?
believe they're gonna put one in, but I'll let the applicant speak to that when it's his. Yep.
Okay.
I should note too, if they ever do decide to construct a residence, that there would be in this, and convert this one into a dwelling or a seasonal recreational residence, there is ample room to subdivide on this property.
Thank you. Would the applicant care to come up and speak? Introduce yourself and.
Yeah, my name's Nick Sauer, and that's the garage we want to build. So What you're looking at there is a future plan. Our goal is to build a residence out there, and that, what you see there is just kind of a future plan in case we don't have enough money to actually build the whole house. And we wanted to we drew that up so we could fit bedrooms and kitchen and stuff like that in there. So we chose that square footage and tried to put the pieces together to make sure that it would fit. That's not the original plan. The goal, the dream, is to go out there and make it a permanent residence, that being a garage, attach a house to that, or unattached house to that. So the plan is to take that garage, have enough setback, further than necessary so we can add a house in front of it, so it'd be closer to the lake.
So how big of a, are you anticipating building your septic for the future or just for immediate use? It would be substantially smaller.
No, it'd be for the future. And it'd be a, like a plastic, septic in case we want to move the house somewhere else. Like in case it's unattached to this, we would just, you know, cap the sewer, just move the septic over.
And setbacks all work with the county, Matt, with, well, potential setbacks with putting a house?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, based on the site plan provided, yes.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Sauer? Thank you. Anybody in the audience or online that wishes to speak for or against? Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak for or against? Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to speak for or against? Hearing none, look for a motion to close the public hearing.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Brad, seconded by Sebastian. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Public hearing is closed.
And Mr. Chair, I did just get confirmation from our environmental health director that the plastic septic tank would be fine.
Okay. Thank you. I should have thought of that. The conditional use will not be injurious to the health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the residents of Clay County. The conditional use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purpose already permitted. The establishment of the conditional use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses predominant in the area. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide utilities, access roads, drainage, off-street parking, and loading spaces as required by this ordinance. Adequate measures have been or will be taken to prevent or control offensive odor, fumes, dust, noise, vibrations, water pollution, and soil erosion, so that none of these will constitute a nuisance, and to control lighted signs or other lights in such a manner that no disturbance to neighboring properties will result. The conditional use will not create an excessive burden on current or anticipated public infrastructure or services that serve or are proposed to serve the area, including but not limited to parks, schools, public safety services, roads, water supply, sanitary sewers, storm sewers, unless the county and the applicant establish a development agreement that determines how such impacts will be resolved. The conditional use is allowed by this ordinance and conforms with any specific use standards established in Chapter 8 as may be applicable. The conditional use is consistent with the goals and objectives of the Clay County Comprehensive and Transportation Plan and any comprehensive plan of a township or city as may be applicable. Okay, Matt and staff have 3 conditions up there. And the applicant is aware that it's kind of like meatloaf, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And no commercial property or commercial activity. Anyone have anything they think should be added or removed to the conditions? Seem pretty straightforward. Applicant understands what he's asking and what we're looking for.
Mr. Chair, just based off of the applicant's comments for condition 3, he said the dream is to construct a residence that might be either attached or unattached to this, but the backup plan is if they don't do the residence, that this would kind of be converted into a residence. So I'm wondering, just so the applicant doesn't have to come back and amend this conditional use permit, if we add the clause unless the structure is established as the principal resident or principal dwelling on the property.
So like turning it into a house or something.
Yes. If that would be appropriate.
Okay, I see a couple of nods. Would anyone care to articulate that?
So he wouldn't have to come back if he turned it into a house, but he would if he built a new home? Or are we trying to cover both bases here?
Essentially, he wouldn't, if it was converted into a house, he would not have to come back if we added this clause in there. If he builds a new home, then it would be the 2 of the 3 still. Yeah.
And you'd have to subdivide.
Or you wouldn't have to necessarily subdivide, because right now the plan is just the bathroom and the refrigerator.
Yep.
So then it'd be, yep.
Mr. Chair and Matt, if he ended up using this as a residence, would the construction be required to be anything different than what he's planning on now to comply with everything for a house?
Mr. Chair and Mr. Steichen, I don't think at this time, because he's planning on having all the utilities come into the structure, the sewer, water, electrical. Do you want him to?
Yeah, so that was one thing that we took in consideration, if we're gonna have a garage or, if it's gonna be attached or not attached. Just because of the frost depth, we wanna have a footing on the garage, so it doesn't move, especially if we attach it to a house. So, if it's a garage for the rest of its life, or it goes into, or if we convert it into, a livable space, we're gonna have at least a footing that goes down below the frost line, so it doesn't heave.
Thank you. Okay, would anyone like to add a condition 5, or?
Yeah, I just added the clause unless the structure is converted into the principal dwelling.
That looks, see lots of nods.
I'll make a motion to approve with the conditional use permit with 1 through 3.
A motion by Kurt Stubsted,
Second.
second by Brad. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Permit is granted. Anything unfinished, Mr. Matt?
No unfinished business at this time.
But we do have something under new business.
We do. It's very exciting.
Presented all.
Let me get down here. So, Moorhead Public Service, is beginning the process to amend the Moorhead Wellhead Protection Plan, for the wells that are located in Moorhead and the Buffalo aquifers. They are looking at, yes, they're looking to form a team or a committee, of different LGUs or entities that directly overlie or surround the aquifer areas. And what they've requested from us is that we would appoint a representative to serve on that team. The team meetings would probably begin in November, and they'd last once a month for 6 months. And so what I'm requesting is if we want to recommend appointment of one of the planning commissioners to this wellhead protection plan update team, and I'd bring that to the county board. And so, I guess first of all, is there anyone who would be interested in serving on that? I don't know if, Moorhead, if you likely have someone from
We
your.
probably have someone on MPS commission already, so I don't know if it would be appropriate or proper for me. If
Yep.
no one cares, I could, but I don't know if it'd be a conflict of interest.
I would be willing to give it a whirl if that's. Somebody else is wanting to.
Trying to remember how we've done this in the past, because I know several of the commissioners have the wellhead protection committee within portfolios, and so is this a separate planning commission specific portfolio, and then commission involvement comes later?
I think so. Their specific ask was someone from the planning commission.
Well, I'm not seeing a ton of extra hands, and so I really appreciate the chair's willingness to serve in this capacity. I know in the past we've had SWCD members be part of that discussion as well, and because of Joel's involvement with that, I think that certainly is a really good fit. I don't know if I can make a recommendation or a motion.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, then I'll make a motion to the county, or a recommendation to the county board to appoint Joel.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Jenny and a second by Kurt. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of Jenny's motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. And that is, well, what you had for new business then?
I have one more.
Okay, I mean, the same one that I have?
Yeah, go for it.
So apparently tonight is the end of the road. Time for a new path. Kurt, I really appreciate working with you. I think I've been on here 4 years now. And you. I'm the grandpa. You are an active farmer. You give and you farm in, you've been a great part of many conversations because you farm in that area, or you may farm that land where something is happening, and you offer a different point of view than a lot of us have, and I, for one, have really appreciated working with you over the last 4 years, and I'd like you to come up, and staff has prepared a big plaque for you.
Gosh, thank you.
And
Hold on.
Believe me, you do not want Jenny to make cupcakes. I can cook, but I cannot bake.
No, I appreciate it very much. It's been an interesting 9 years, and because I was here when other people sat in your chair, Matt, I want to make sure to say before I'm done that it's a lot different than before you came, and it's a lot better, and it's been a lot of changes. They've all been good, so I applaud you. You're making this job a lot easier.
Well, thank you, I appreciate it. And I just want to also say that Kurt's always the planning commissioner who gets out and about, and here, I know you're always driving and visiting all the sites that will be the subject of a public hearing on our agenda, and providing feedback, and even meeting with me out on some properties as well, just to kind of get some eyes and ears on the ground, and
What am I telling my wife I'm doing all the time now? Planning and zoning business, and I'm
You're still on the watershed.
yeah.
that's what I got to do.
Yeah, so, just really appreciate your involvement, going to trainings, just trying to get a better understanding of land use and zoning, and really, taking that to heart, so, really appreciate it, and, if you found your replacement, that would be fantastic.
That's what I got to do. I drive around, find my replacement.
There you go.
You have another job now.
So, thank you, Kurt.
Mileage for that.
Can I really?
Jenny?
Well, I'm fairly certain that I might have conned Kurt into applying for this. And so I think we had a conversation and I just said it's either the watershed or the planning. And guess what? Now you've been on both. So I think I should that too. But I also want to comment, having served with you all of those years, there's not any other faces around this table that we've done that together. So I just really want to appreciate you and your work. You're always so responsive to resident concerns, and you provide a neutral listening space for people when they bring concerns forward, and that's why you've just been such an effective leader in this capacity and also at the watershed. So I've known you for a long time, and I know this isn't the end of the road for you, but I really appreciate serving in this capacity with you. Yeah.
I have one more item of new business. Just want to announce, you might notice that there's an absence tonight, that Erica is not here. And so, she did have her baby, on September 6th, so 10 days ago. Everett Orion, Frank, a boy, and everyone is doing fantastic, so. She'll be gone till December 3rd, and we'll miss her dearly. And hopefully she brings the baby in at some point. But I got a picture of him today. So, me too. So if you want pictures, we got pictures. So congrats to Erica and her family.
Yeah, that's cool.
I still remember Jenny with her little girl. She was like 5 days old when she brought her to the first soil and water meeting.
She's 7.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been on, yeah. Okay, lots of good news, and thank you, everyone. If nobody has anything else, our next meeting will be, I didn't look at my calendar.
Yeah, October 21st.
Okay.
Yes, that is something we do need. We have 2 openings. I'm going to be sending out just a letter to all the townships to see if we can solicit some potential interest. And then Kurt, I'll be expecting twice monthly reports on, yeah.
Okay. Hearing no further business or discussion, look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Stubbs said?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Kurt,
Second.
second by Sebastian and Laura. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, Kurt.